Hello, my name is Eva. My husband Scott and I met in college, and our connection was instant. After graduating, we knew we wanted to spend our lives together, so we got married. In the beginning, our relationship was filled with love and happiness. We supported each other's dreams and celebrated our achievements together. When our two adorable children came into our lives, our bond grew even stronger. We were a team, navigating parenthood side by side. Soon, Scott's career took off. His success involved him starting to go on business trips. At first, I had no issue with it because it meant a better life for our family. I admired his dedication and work ethic. However, the trips became more frequent. I began to feel overwhelmed, juggling work, taking care of the kids, and managing the household on my own became increasingly challenging. Hey, love, can we talk about something that's been bothering me? Of course, babe, what's up? Those business trips you've been taking, they've been tough on me. I feel overwhelmed trying to handle everything by myself. I get it. I'm sorry for adding to your stress, but you know how important those trips are for my job, right? I understand that, love. I've always supported your career, but lately the trips have been too much. I need more support and time together as a family. Okay, I see where you're coming from. I'll talk to my boss about reducing the trips, but it might not happen right away. Thanks, love. It means a lot that you're willing to listen. We can find a balance that works for both of us and our kids. Of course. I love you, babe. I want to make things better and be there for you all. We'll figure it out, I promise. I love you too, darling. Scott didn't go on a business trip for the next 3 months. I finally felt better and much more supported. However, things took a drastic turn when Scott began acting strangely. He started leaving the house for errands that seemed insignificant, but they took up an excessive amount of his time. I didn't think much of it at first, but looking back, those were warning signs that I failed to recognize. One morning, Scott woke me up in a panic. What's going on, darling? Why are you waking me up so early? I need to tell you something. My mom was in a car accident last night. She's been discharged this morning, and I need to be there for her. Oh my God, is she okay? What happened? I don't have all the details yet, but I'm really worried about her. I have to go to her place and take care of her for the next week. Of course, darling. Family comes first. Don't worry about us. I'll handle everything here with the kids. Just focus on your mom and make sure she's all right. Thanks, babe. I'll try to keep you updated, but I might be really busy taking care of her. No problem. We're here for you. Just let us know if there's anything we can do to help. Take care of your mom and yourself. I will. I love you and the kids. I'll be back as soon as I can. We love you too, darling. Stay strong and remember that we're here for you. Take care of your mom and we'll be waiting for you to come back. I decided to take the day off work and prepared a meal for my dear mother-in-law, Kathy. My relationship with Kathy, my mother-in-law, was a rare and beautiful bond that grew stronger over the years. From the moment I met her, I felt an instant connection. She welcomed me into her family with open arms, accepting me as her own daughter. Our relationship was filled with love, warmth, and mutual respect. Kathy and I developed a deep mother-daughter relationship. We would spend hours chatting, sharing stories, and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. She became my confidant, offering guidance and wisdom whenever I needed it. Kathy's presence brought comfort and a sense of belonging to my life. Whenever we visited Kathy, she would shower my children with love and affection. They adored their grandmother, and she adored them right back. She was their biggest cheerleader, attending their school events, baking cookies with them, and creating treasured memories together. Kathy's love for her family was unconditional, and it radiated through every interaction. So when Scott told me about his mother's supposed accident, My immediate response was a concern and strong desire to be there for her. I spent an entire day preparing a meal for Kathy. When the kids got back from school, the three of us baked and iced cookies to give Kathy. With the kids' help, we prepared get-well-soon gifts and loaded up the car with the food and cards. I dropped off the kids at my brother's place for a few hours and embarked on a 3-hour drive to Kathy's house. For a fleeting second, I wanted to contact Scott and tell him that I would be arriving there soon, but decided against it. 3 hours later, I arrived at Kathy's place. However, I could not see Scott's car in the driveway. I assumed he must have been out getting groceries. I didn't know the extent of Kathy's injuries, so I hoped she was okay enough to open the door for me. I rang the doorbell and Kathy opened it, but surprisingly, Kathy opened the door looking healthy and completely unharmed. "Oh my, what brings you over, Eva dear?" "Mom, how are you feeling? Are you okay?" "Of course I'm okay. I may be a grandmother, but I'm not that old. Well, it's just that Scott woke me up this morning to tell me that you were in an accident last night and you just got discharged from the hospital this morning. He said he'll be here all week taking care of you. I spent all day making you comfort food and the kids baked you your favorite cookies. The kids even made you get-well-soon cards. I thought I'd surprise you guys." "Oh, that's so sweet of you guys, but, I have to ask, accident?" "What accident? I'm perfectly all right, and I haven't seen Scott. He definitely didn't stop by here. Although this is still a delightful surprise, why don't you come in and we'll figure out Scott's lie together?" Kathy took the food and gifts out of my hands and walked into the house. I followed her in too. My heart was racing as a multitude of thoughts swirled around in my head. Why had Scott lied? And why was his lie so grim? Kathy brought me a cold cup of water and sat down next to me. She placed her hand on mine, effectively pulling me out of my head. "I'm still so confused about everything. I can't believe Scott would lie about his mother being in an accident." "Sometimes things aren't as they seem, my dear. Let's try to figure out what's going on." "You're right, Mom. I need to get to the bottom of this. I told Scott how overwhelmed I was with his frequent business trips, and he agreed to cut back. But now this whole accident story doesn't make sense." "It's possible that Scott may have lied about the accident to cover up something else, like a business trip. Let's call his work and see if he's there." "That's a good idea. I'll call May and ask her if he'd been to work today." My heart was racing as I called Scott's workplace to speak to his secretary, May. I wished with every fiber in my being that Scott was at work and on a business trip. My mind kept going to the worst possibilities, each possibility worse than the previous. I needed to calm down, so I took a couple of deep breaths. Kathy held onto my hand as I waited for May to pick up. The phone rang 3 times before May finally picked up. "Hello, May. This is Eva, Scott's wife." "Hi, what can I do for you today?" "I wanted to ask if Scott came into work today." "Yes, Scott was here earlier, but he left early with someone else." "Oh, I see. Who did he leave with?" "It was an intern, a college student who's been interning with us." "Was the intern a woman?" "Yes, Eva, she was, although there's nothing to worry about. Scott's been put in charge of her training, and they just went to do some off-site duty. They should be back in a couple of hours. If you call because you suspect something, I should let you know that our company has very strict rules about workplace relationships." "I see. Thanks for being honest with me. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm just a little paranoid, I guess." "Of course, it's no problem to help you out. Is there anything else I could help you with?" "Yes, just one last thing. Why has Scott been going on so many business trips lately?" "I'm sorry, Eva. I'm not sure what you mean. Scott hasn't had any business trips planned recently." "But he told me he had to go on trips for work. Are you sure there weren't any scheduled? I can double check, but as far as I know, there haven't been any trips planned for Scott. Oh, all right. Thank you once again for your help. No worries. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. I will, May. Thank you again. Goodbye. So, Scott was cheating on me, and I would bet my left lung on it being with that intern. I'm pretty sure my phone call to May would raise her suspicions, but as of right now, there was no proof. But in my heart, I knew what the truth was. I couldn't bear the weight of the truth any longer, so I shared everything with Kathy, who was equally disgusted by her son's actions. Determined to confront Scott, I asked Kathy if I could FaceTime him immediately. With unwavering support, she encouraged me to stand my ground. I dialed his number, and as soon as he saw Kathy beside me, his face drained of color. He tried to stammer out an explanation, but I cut him off. There was nothing left to say. I demanded to know if he had cheated on me, and instead of answering, Scott hung up. That silence spoke volumes. Overwhelmed by grief and anger, I collapsed into tears, and Kathy joined me, her heart broken by her own son's choices. Eva, dear, please let me apologize on my son's behalf. I had no idea he would do something like this. I feel responsible in a way. Maybe if I had raised him right. Absolutely not. We both know you raised him better than this. Don't blame yourself. This is entirely Scott's doing. You're not responsible for his actions. We both loved him and believed in him. We couldn't have predicted this. You're absolutely right, but I don't want you to suffer with this truth. I want you to leave Scott. I will. I need to find a place to stay before I give him the papers, though. What do you mean? You and the kids will move in here. I will not allow you to go through all of this alone. I'll be here with you all the way. I really am super grateful for you, Mom. During the week Scott was away, I had so many thoughts racing in my mind, and I couldn't stop them. Was I not good enough for him? Had I made a mistake? These questions made me doubt myself, and I started feeling small and unsure. My feelings swung back and forth between being mad and feeling so sad, like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. Each hour that went by without a call or message from Scott made the pain inside me grow stronger. I just wanted some kind of reassurance, a sign that things were still okay. But as the days kept passing, I had to face the reality I didn't want to accept. My hope slowly turned into bitter understanding. I couldn't wrap my head around the betrayal that was happening right in front of me. The trust I had in Scott shattered, leaving me feeling completely lost and all alone. The weight of the lies threatened to crush my spirit, and I started questioning if I could ever trust anyone again. The pain I felt was intense, like a sharp knife stabbing into my heart. The person I thought I knew so well, the person I had built a life with, now felt like a stranger. Throughout it all, I held on to the hope that there was a life beyond the hurt, a chance for me to rebuild and find happiness once again. It wasn't easy, and there were moments when I felt unsure and scared, but my love for my children and my belief in my own worth pushed me forward. By taking that leap, I showed myself that I had the strength to stand up for what was right and to demand the respect and love we deserved. Filing for divorce wasn't just about protecting myself, it was about taking back my power and finding my voice. I filed for divorce, citing infidelity and child neglect, seeking full custody of our children. When Scott returned home, I greeted him at the front door with the divorce papers in my hand. He tried to greet me with a nervous hello, but I silently handed him the papers. "Are you kidding me, Eva? How can you possibly expect me to agree to this? This is outrageous." "Outrageous, Scott? You cheated on me. I have every right to protect myself and our children. If you don't sign these papers, I will expose your infidelity to your bosses." "You wouldn't dare. I would lose my job. It would ruin my reputation. I don't think you're in any position to take the risk of finding out if I'm bluffing. I won't let you manipulate and deceive me any longer. Sign the papers and spare us all from further pain. Fine, but I won't make it easy for you. I will contest this divorce, Eva. I'm not giving up without a fight. Suit yourself. If that's how you want to play it, be prepared for the consequences. I won't let your actions go unpunished. The divorce proceedings were both challenging and necessary to protect the well-being of my children and myself. I gathered evidence of Scott's infidelity and his neglect as a parent. It was heartbreaking to complete the proof of his betrayal, but it was essential for the court to understand the truth. I wanted to ensure that my children would have a safe and loving environment to grow up in. During the proceedings, I presented the evidence to the judge, emphasizing Scott's lack of commitment to our family. I requested full custody as I believed it was in the best interest of our children, given the circumstances. Scott, however, chose to contest the divorce, unwilling to accept the consequences of his actions. Fortunately, I had collected substantial evidence, including emails exchanged between Scott and the intern he had been involved with. I discovered these emails by chance, as Scott had logged into his account on my laptop and forgot to sign out. This evidence strengthened my case and proved the extent of his infidelity. To further support my claims, I reached out to Scott's bosses, providing them with evidence of his workplace affair. Their strict policies regarding dating within the company resulted in Scott losing his job. While it was not my intention to cause him harm, his actions had severe consequences. With the undeniable evidence on Scott's lack of employment, the judge ruled in my favor. I was granted full custody of our children, with Scott having visitation rights every weekend. It was a bittersweet victory, as the pain of the divorce weighed heavily on all of us. Through the proceedings, I remained focused on the well-being of my children. It was a challenging and emotional time, but I knew that ending a toxic marriage was the right decision. As the divorce was finalized, I felt a mixture of relief and sadness. It marked the end of a chapter in my life and the beginning of a new one. Kathy's support and the love of my children gave me the strength to move forward and rebuild our lives. The aftermath of the divorce was a mix of relief, healing, and new beginnings. After the divorce was finalized, my children and I moved with Kathy, my wonderful mother-in-law, who had become a pillar of strength and support for us. Her home provided a safe and nurturing environment where we could rebuild our lives. However, the transition wasn't without its challenges. Scott, my ex-husband, showed up at Kathy's doorstep, seemingly seeking refuge. "Scott, I can't believe you dare show up here after what you've done to Eva and the kids. You need to leave." "Mom, please. I have nowhere else to go. I need your help." "Help? You think I would support you after all the pain you've caused? You lied, cheated, and broke our family apart. I won't tolerate it. Leave now." "But Mom, I'm your son." "Yes, you are my son, and it breaks my heart to see what you've become. But my loyalty lies with Eva and the children. They deserve better than you. Now go before I do something I'll regret." It was a difficult moment, witnessing Kathy disown her own son, but her actions spoke volumes about her character and the depth of her love for us. She refused to enable his behavior and made it clear that we deserved better. At that moment, Kathy's strength and loyalty shone through, providing us with the assurance that we were not alone in this journey. With Kathy's continued love and support, we started to rebuild our lives. We created a new sense of normalcy, finding comfort in each other's presence. Kathy became not just a mother-in-law, but a cherished member of our family, filling the void left by Scott's absence. I focused on rebuilding my own life. I reconnected with old friends, pursued hobbies that brought me joy, and dedicated time to self-care. It was important for me to rediscover my own identity outside of marriage. and to find strength and happiness within myself. And so, that is the story of how a heart-wrenching betrayal led to a newfound strength for me and my children. I am eternally grateful for Kathy's unwavering support and the opportunity to start anew. Life may have dealt us a painful blow, but together we will heal and thrive. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. It has been cathartic to share it with you all. Remember, sometimes the deepest wounds can lead to the most incredible transformations.